there. You've probably noticed that every single meditation tradition has certain routines that they teach, which are to aid you in getting into the right state of mind for your practice. I'm talking about preparatory rituals which act as a warm-up and allow you to let go of anything that could be counterproductive or distracting to your practice. In this video we're going to go through all the common practices, and we're going to focus in on how to get the most from them, both as a beginner and as a more advanced practitioner. So let us look at the most common routines that people use to prepare themselves to get the most out of their meditation practice. The first that we should explore is the use of location. So this would be the place where you always practice and the association with that. Many people have a meditation spot in their house where they always sit. Others go to a place in nature. Maybe they run out into the woods and they sit beneath a tree, and this allows them to really feel at one. You probably met someone who actually goes to a temple or spiritual place for their meditation as often as possible, or has even built in their garden a meditation hut or a mini temple. Location can be very powerful. It allows you to cut off from everyday thoughts and concerns and to build an association with a certain way of sitting, place of sitting, certain objects in your surroundings, so that you can shift gear into that specific state of calm awareness you're seeking. The next practice you can see being very useful for that change of gear and change of focus is the donning of special clothing. In our society, we associate clothing with different roles. So we have a uniform for work, we have certain clothes we just wear around the house, we put on certain clothing to go out. So using special clothing, whether it be a meditation robe, a layman, or a necklace of some type. Maybe there's a string of beads that you always put on or always use for your meditation practice. Often traditions have a stole or a kesa, a strip of material which is worn as a collar that says it's time to focus. Using these items of clothing can be very powerful because the association with change of clothes and change of focus is already there for you. So when you take off the uniform of your worldly duties and put it aside, your mind knows that the focus is about to change. And when you put on your robes, then it knows that it's time for a higher awareness. Now this may seem a lot of effort for your meditation practice, but this is part of a clear and firm discipline so that you can get the most out of what you're doing. Now I mentioned beads earlier on. Sometimes the ritual can be the use of the same tools. So even getting those tools, getting the robe out of the box, getting the beads that you're going to be using, putting down the cushion or the blanket that you sit on. Actually, the preparing of the space often is the preparing of the mind for people. So do not neglect this. This is not to be done complacently. This is to be done with meaning and to use this to get yourself into that right state. Sacred space outside, sacred space inside. So it may be that you associate the use of beads or a timer with your meditation, and this is good. And getting them out or putting them on could be part of that ritual preparation. But it's also really important to keep using them, to keep yourself honest, so that you are monitoring how often you have disturbances in your meditation or how long you're sitting for. You've also probably seen some very traditional means to create an atmosphere in the room for meditation. So this could be the lighting of a candle to create the right lighting, and this also has a symbolic value. As you light the candle, your higher awareness or your focus on goodness and on awareness, in the sense that light brings clarity. It could be that you also light incense, and whether it's traditional incense, which would be a burning resin or a gum, or whether it's essential oils or joss sticks or some other means to scent the air. This is a very powerful tool, because we're not only creating a routine and an association. That scent or the act of lighting that incense tells me it's time to meditate. The scent itself changes your state of consciousness. So you can choose something uplifting like frankincense, or something more calming like lavender. So you're already starting to move towards the state of mind you seek. And remember, whatever state of mind you bring forth in your meditation will become part of your normal waking consciousness. So you're planting seeds that will be of benefit both to yourself and to those who come in contact with you. Another practice which also helps directly aid your meditation would be the use of sound. Some people ring a meditation bell. The meditation bell is the most common preparatory in many different traditions. It's as if the noise gives you something to tune into, so you can create a new base of thought. As it fades away, you can let your mind clear. But people also knock on objects a certain number of times. They hit 2 blocks together to make a certain number of knocks. And this way they keep training themselves with an association. It's time to meditate when they hear that noise. An extension of this would be the actual use of music, which is of course completely traditional. It's not just the modern day where we put on meditation music. Temples and churches from traditions all across the world have had musicians and singers there to help you to get into that state of mind. So this, like the incense, may have a beautiful symbolic value. This could represent your aspirations and your calling, but it also helps you directly to get that state of mind. And of course you can later on let go of any of these tools once you've got there, but to begin with it may be very useful to have a powerful aid such as music that represents the exact qualities you're seeking to bring about. Now, in addition to these aids that people use to help change their consciousness, there are ones which are based more on association. So a bit like the banging of the blocks or the ringing of the bell, some people have a certain posture they use for meditation, so they only sit in this posture for meditation. Some people will do a certain gesture that says that it's time for their meditation practice. Some people will have an imaginary trigger. So it could be associated with any of these rituals. They could imagine themselves taking on the different clothing or in a different form. They have a different name of themselves or personality that is triggered. Maybe they have a prayer or a chant they start their meditation practice with. All these can be combined as a lead-in to your meditation. And if you are wanting to improve that transfer from a normal day of consciousness into your higher consciousness, then these tools are definitely worth utilizing. Particularly when you're starting out, you may find them of aid because you're just learning to change from one state of mind to another, and actually the very qualities you want to bring about will probably be the ones lacking in your everyday life. So if you've spent a whole day thinking in a certain way or feeling a certain way, to expect it to sit and to switch may be over ambitious. So just like with your physical exercise, you want to give yourself a warm up. You want to give yourself some time to lead your mind into that right state of mind. So you could view this as giving yourself permission, or you could use this to comfort yourself if you are anxious, or to move your focus to joy if that's what you need more of, taking pleasure in all these small things. Now, when you've been practicing meditation for a while, you may feel you don't need any of these. You can just sit, and you can just will yourself to change from one state to another. And that's really good. And in fact, I would recommend that you never let yourself get reliant on these tools, and that you do practice as you get more advanced. Meditation in any place, meditation without any preparation, that's wonderful and really worth doing. But don't let go of these skills. You see, one of the biggest challenges you will ever face in your meditation is complacency and routine. You want to keep improving, so your awareness needs to keep expanding. You want to keep evolving your consciousness by reaching forth just beyond what you previously have done in your meditation. All these preparatory rituals can come into their own when you really need this extra push. So, you start to use your preparatory rituals in a almost shamanic way. It's a form of psych-up, of preparation of the mind, of leading, as if stepping up a ladder to a higher consciousness. When you start to walk towards your location of meditation, you can start to cut out the everyday world. As you sit in your meditation posture and don your robes, you let go of your normal waking consciousness, and your higher consciousness takes control. As you set your timer or take out your beads, your intention that you will be manifesting the particular skill or state of consciousness you're practicing is set firmly. You can light your incense and imagine that this represents your aspirations. You are like the yogi about to pierce the sun. You are Enoch about to walk where you know you're destined. This is a heroic act that's about to take place. You are going to step beyond the normal level of human consciousness and find your full potential. Maybe as you light the candle, you can remember the words of Hermes in his perfect discourse, divine experience comes from a godlike awareness. Maybe your prayer, your chant, has taken on an incantationary feel as you enter into the state of consciousness that calls you. Maybe your gesture is a creative fiat, it's a spark of light triggering your will into action. As your meditation practice evolves, make sure that your ritual preparations and your use of them evolve, so that you get better at leading yourself from one state of consciousness to another. But don't neglect these or see them as useless peripheries or something for beginners, but fully utilize them so that you can reach your full potential. My name's Martin Faulks, and I hope this video has been of use to anyone who enjoys an ongoing improvement in their meditation practice. Until next time, let's let every word, thought, and action